What I wanted to do was to divide the day up into, well, the weekend up into 6 talks. And these are based on 6 pillars which I once identified as being the most important pillars in the Risale-i. Now, since I decided that these were the 6, I've changed my ideas so much. And today, for example, I have a different idea than yesterday, and tomorrow I'll have another different idea of which are the most important parts of Risale. It's all important, but some parts, depending on where you are in your journey, strike you as more important than other parts, for different reasons. And the 6 that I've identified here, unfortunately, this was done at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I only actually got 2 of them written down. The 6 pillars, 6 conceptual pillars of Risale. The first one that I want to talk about is the theology of the names. So ignore this. The first pillar I want to talk about. These are the pillars of the Risale. The 6 pillars which I think are possibly the most important pillars, conceptual pillars of Risale.
The theology of the names?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. The first pillar upon which the Risale rests is Nursi's theology of God's most beautiful names.
Yes.
The Asma al-Husna. I think we are all familiar with Asma al-Husna, the concept of Asma al-Husna. We are told all the time that God has 99 beautiful names. If you read the Quran, you will find maybe 300, 400 names. You can derive 300, 400 names. There is an invocation, a dua, called Joshan al-Kabir, in which you find 1,000 divine names and attributes. And Nursi would say that actually there are an infinite number of divine names. Everything is actually a divine name, in a sense.
So you go back to وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ أَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, and he taught
Yes,
all. So
absolutely. So the first pillar upon which the Risale rests is on Nursi's theology of the Asma al-Husna. For Nursi, the cosmos, like the Quran, is a book. It is a divinely written book. So at the heart of Nursi's cosmology is a kind of cosmological hermeneutics. The universe, the cosmos, is seen as a book which can be read. Now, we know that the Quran has verses, and that word verses is translated as ayat, which point to the author of the Quran. For Nursi, the cosmos also has ayat. So the book of the cosmos also has verses or signs which point to its maker, to the author of the book of the cosmos. So this is very, very important. For Nursi, the cosmos is like a book, and we all read this book. Everyone reads the book of the cosmos. Believer, unbeliever, it makes no difference. We all read, we all understand something, and more importantly, we all interpret. We all interpret the book. All of the time. Constantly. Constantly, verses are being revealed to us. If I take this cup and throw it, that is a verse being revealed. Even a small, inconsequential act is a verse. We interpret that verse. So if I throw this verse, if I throw this, how do you interpret that? Anger, possibly, frustration. We all read the cosmic book all the time. This is very important for Nursi. Thank you. Can you bring some more water, please?
I think it's very much in light of the Quran. Look at the sky, look at the horizon. So Allah is also always pointing up to the book.
Yes.
That we don't read.
Absolutely. You see, Hakan interpreted my throwing the cup that I need more water. So he read that sign in a particular way. He read that verse in a particular way. Thank you. So, Nursi talks about the divine book of the cosmos. And he says that the beings which make up the cosmos are in effect words. So every being is a word that is written as part of this divine book. And every word is a reflection of God, because it embodies divine names. Now, as I said, the fact that God possesses innumerable names, and not just the 99 which are mentioned in the Hadith, this is supported by the Quran, which is full of passages which talk about God's names. We have allusions to God's names, we have direct references to God's names, we have lists of all of the acts that God does in the creation, and you will see after them, God will bring in various names. And of course we know that meditating on the names of God is a staple of the Sufi tradition, with whole cosmologies being founded on the notion that the created world is just a mirror for the reflection of God. So again, this is a very important Nursian motif, mirror. The book of creation, but also the mirror. Everything is a mirror in which God's reflection is seen. And in fact, for Nursi, the visible world, alam al-shahada, the visible world, everything that can be seen and experienced, is like a full-length mirror in which God manifests himself in order to contemplate his own perfections. And again, there is a tradition in which God says, I created the cosmos in order that it know me, love me, and worship me. Nursi says that God created the cosmos as a mirror in order to look at his own beauty, in order to contemplate his own attributes. Now for Nursi, all created beings to some degree manifest God's names. But we have to be careful, and we were talking there about wahdat al-wujud, wahdat al-shuhud. We have to be careful not to confuse the creator with the creation.
Right.
We have to be very careful not to confuse the two. Nursi says the creator and the creation are completely, in one sense, completely separate things. They are not the same thing. So Nursi says wherever you look, you see attributes of perfection. Wherever you look, you can see attributes. You can see power, you can see beauty, you can see wisdom, you can see knowledge. These attributes are everywhere. We see them in all things and in all people.
So whether it's tangible or intangible?
Yes. Everything manifests power. For example, for this to come into existence, there has to be power. Yes? There is an attribute known as power. Knowledge. All of the attributes, all of God's names are manifest in his creation. The existence of beauty, for example, in a flower or in a human face. For Nursi, take the example of the flower. The beauty in the flower indicates the beauty of the creator of the flower. The beauty one sees in the flower indicates the beauty of the creator of the flower. The wisdom behind the creation of that flower indicates the wisdom of the creator of the flower.
Are we saying that by definition, the created could never be as beautiful as the creator?
Are we saying that the created can never be as beautiful as the creator?
It's always a reflection.
It's always a reflection.
It's always.
Always.
It's not. And it's not even always a full 100% reflection, it's just a reflection?
It's a reflection, yes, it's not 100% reflection. There can never be 100% reflection, in a sense.
So the reason, what I was thinking behind that question is that to aspire to a certain level of perfection is actually a wasted exercise.
Save that for the quick Q&A at the end. So, for Nursi, the existence of beauty, for example, in a flower is indicative of the beauty of the creator of the flower. The order and the wisdom that you see in the workings of the human body, for example. If you think about how your body works, for Nursi, this is indicative of the order and wisdom which are possessed by the one who creates that body. So all of the time, Nursi is looking at the attributes he sees in the flower, and he's saying, this is indicative of attributes which exist in the creator of the flower. He does this for everything. In other words, all of the attributes of perfection, that we perceive in the universe, order, power, wisdom, beauty, knowledge, harmony, proportion, mercy, compassion, these are basically embodiments or reflections of the divine names and attributes. And Nursi writes extensively about this book of creation, which is written for all human beings to read, and which indeed all human beings do read, even if they come to different conclusions about the author. We all read the cosmic book, we all come to a conclusion about the author. One person concludes that there is an author, another person concludes there's no author, the book wrote itself, or something else wrote the book. Causes wrote the book, or nature wrote the book, or the book wrote itself. So we all read the book. We all read the cosmic book. But for Nursi, he says, it's only by thinking about the countless divine names and attributes which are manifest in the created realm that we can reach the truth of belief. So those attributes are there for us to ponder, for us to take on board, for us to understand. It's only through these manifestations that we are able actually to fulfill our true destiny. Now, what is our true destiny? What is our true role? Our true role is to act as a conscious mirror. To act as a conscious mirror. We are all unconscious mirrors anyway.
Is that what he exactly says?
Yes.
Conscious.
Yes. He says everything is mazhar.
Mazhar.
Mazhar is a place of manifestation. But in one part of the Risale, he says human beings can be mushir. Now, Arabists among us will know that mushir is fa'il. Mazhar is masdar, is place of something. So mazhar is place of manifestation. Human being is the only creature who can be mushir, the one who consciously or actively manifests the names of God.
It's very, very interesting.
So the true destiny of human being is to act as a conscious mirror for the reflection of the Creator. For Nursi, the key to belief consists in reading the signs in creation and deciphering them. Deciphering them. Do we all understand what deciphering means?
Yes.
A cipher is like a puzzle. And to decipher it is to unlock this puzzle. To decipher the cosmic signs which exist on the horizons, afaq, and in our own selves, anfus. And if we do that, Nursi says, we can unlock the talisman of creation. He talks about a talisman. And again, a talisman is like a puzzle. Tilsim or tilism in Farsi. Turkish?
Yeah.
Tilism, yeah? Tilsim. And he says it's only by unlocking this talisman that we can become Khalifatullah. To be Khalifatullah means to be a conscious mirror of the attributes. And when we look at the second pillar, it will become clearer how that works. So for Nursi, only by understanding what we are, and more importantly, understanding what we are not, can we come to know what God is. We can only know what God is by understanding what we are not. And to understand what God is, Nursi says, man first has to be quite clear that the attributes of perfection that we see scattered in the creation belong not to the things themselves, but belong to God. So it's all about attribution. It's all about ownership. So to understand what God is, man has to be very clear that the attributes of perfection that he sees in himself and in creation are correctly ascribed to the true source, i.e. God, and not appropriated for ourselves. Now again, when we look at the second pillar, that will become more clear. So for Nursi, man is fulfilled only with the attainment of belief. And belief depends on how we read the cosmic book. Belief depends on how we interpret the book of creation. Because we all read that book. We all interpret the book. Interpretation of that book either takes us to belief or to unbelief. So how you read the book is important. And again, one of the pillars that we will be talking about is how do we read the book? How do we read the cosmic book? So belief depends on the correct interpretation of the cosmic narrative. To read anything but the words of God inscribed on the pages of the universe, or to see anything but the signs of God in the mirror of created beings, is to betray our all. So if we look at the book of creation and come to the conclusion that it doesn't have an author, or that it is self-authored, this is betraying our role as Khalifatullah. It's betraying our role as conscious mirror of the divine attributes. And there is a tradition, another, I think, Hadith Qudsi, in which Allah says, Kuntu kanzan makhfiyan. I was a hidden treasure. And I created human beings and jinn so that I may be known. It's only by reading the cosmic book that we can uncover this hidden treasure. That's the first pillar, the theology of the names.